guys, welcome back to another video. So today I want to discuss wealthy people. No, I don't mean the ones with the yachts. I don't mean multi-millionaires, like rich type of status. I'm talking about the everyday millionaire, the person who either has more than a million net worth, or the person who has more money coming in than going out at the end of the month. Like that type of wealthy person, the everyday person. Let me give you a little story about one of my neighbors. He always seems very, very happy, and I'm like, okay, maybe he just enjoys what he does. But every single time I say hi, bye, he always seems to be in a good mood. So one time I got to asking, hey man, like, what's the secret for you? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're always happy, always smiling. He's like, I've always just been grateful. I'm like, okay, so good, so am I. But don't you ever feel like you gotta go to work? He's like, yeah, I'm in my 50s now, and I've come to terms that work is a place where you go to fund the things that you want to do outside of work. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It's like you also earn money at your job to be able to invest and live a better life. And I was like, whoa, I'm like, okay, that's cool. Very simplistic things, right? The part that got me is that we both live in an area where it's not flashy at all. He drives a Prius, and that's when I was like, okay, well, what else do you do? He's like, well, I have a couple rentals. And I'm like, and I asked him straight up, well, why do you live here? He's like, exactly, because I don't want to upgrade my lifestyle. I could go buy a bigger house, but what's the point? That's going to be more money that comes out of my pocket. This house is paid off. And I was like, what? It's like, yes. So this house is a paid off house, right? I have rental properties. I have a little bit of money into the investing stocks. It's like, I don't ever really share my personal life like that, but you're asking me what's the secret, and the secret is that I'm not stressed out. And I said, okay, so you've been doing this for the last 20 years. Okay, I get it, no problem. What do you recommend for me? I'm 30. And he just told me exactly what I've been discussing. He said, live below your means. I know it sounds horrible for people to tell you that, but you live before your means. Yes, is it more expensive nowadays to buy property? Of course it is. But so it was in the 80s, so it was in the 90s, so it was in the early 2000s. It's only going to get more and more expensive. So if you can, figure out a way to pay off your home. And I'm just like laughing internally because this is resonating with me. He's a live example of what I'm trying to accomplish, right? He says, well, at the end of the day, no one's coming to save you. And if you don't do it for yourself, then, welcome to society. There's nothing wrong with you. You actually would be normal to be 65, 70 and still have to work. So I asked him, okay, you don't drive a Prius. I mean, that's the only thing I would change about your whole lifestyle. I joke, I said, me personally, I probably would, would love a Lambo or a Ferrari. And he just laughed. He's like, it would be a little too much to where I live. Nothing wrong with that, but yeah, it's not for me. I'm not into cars. I was like, oh, okay. He said, but I am into traveling. So he explained how he, one of his biggest goals was to go the magnificent 7 places of the world. And, he always goes back home. In his case is, some rural part of Mexico. And I was like, whoa, Then he started explaining a little bit about his life and his childhood and all this different stuff. And I was just like, okay, so you've just sacrificed a lot. He started laughing. He said, sacrifice depends on the point of view that you see it. I've had way more than enough. There has been no sacrifice. If by sacrifice means not feeding into the materialistic machine, sure, I don't really care about any of those brands because they don't care about me. Not, it was like, okay, so you haven't sacrificed. Like, no, like, I don't. Sacrifice is what? I haven't gone days without eating. I haven't gone days without having a roof over my head. So that perspective changed a lot. I was like, wow, okay. So for me, not driving a fancy sports car right now, it's not really sacrificing. It's just not feeding into the capitalistic machine of materialism. And he's like, you can choose to see it that way, or you can say, poor me, I don't have the fancy sports car like everybody else, and so therefore I'm sacrificing. Also, that puts you in a little bubble. Then you start comparing yourself with people, and when you start comparing yourself with people, you end up in a poor situation. And we don't mean poor financially, we mean poor mentally. And that's the place where you don't want to be, because that gets you into, now your actions become spending and trying to cope and trying to chase something that really, you know, shouldn't be for you. So anyways, why the wealthy are happier? I think some of them are happier